So you can see I've got some units on the map. So how do you create a unit inside CBRN-Analysis? Well, one way to do it is to actually go to the unit database, click onto this icon, which looks like a soldier holding a rifle, or you can go to View, click into View, and go to Units. And you also see Units as a shortcut key associated with it, F8. So you press F8 on your keyboard. This will also take you to the unit database. The other way to do it is to physically go onto the map and zoom in, depending on how good your map is and if you know exactly the location of where the unit is. And then you can select that location. What I'm going to do is click onto this icon on the map toolbar, right click, paste in, take that grid, and then it will take me to this building here. So this is where the unit is situated inside this building. So I can then, once I'm ready, right click and ask it to create the unit, and then it will automatically pick up the grid position and then allow me to start to fill out the rest of the information that is associated with this particular map symbol or unit. So the front page indicates the name. You can see that we've got Blue Force tracking if we're connected to a command and control system, but we can also, even if we're not connected to a command and control system, we can still decide whether this unit is subordinate to a higher formation unit. We can place the position in. We can also place the valid from time in. This is not mandatory. This just helps the indication of when that unit was physically at that position. If you go to symbol, there are multiple map symbols indicated inside following the NATO publication APP6 Alpha, and anything from the space station, if that's what you want to place in, working its way through the air onto the ground, into the sea, and then subsurface all the way down to underwater decoy. Okay, and everything in between. Don't expect operators to be specialists in map marking, but they should have a basic understanding. Obviously it's a lot easier if those units or map symbols are coming from a command and control system. Okay, so then you have to go in to each one and then highlight whichever one you require. Okay. Also need to indicate the size, whether it's headquarters, and then in advanced you can place in whether you've set up communications and if this particular unit falls within side has a template, whether you want to automatically send it a CBRN3 or a CBRN2 or a 2 with weather information or no information at all. You also have the ability to create a circle or an outline or perimeter around where that unit is. Notes is just free text for the operator to indicate the capabilities of that particular unit, whether it has CBRN equipment, what recce, survey type teams it may have, anything that relates and is CBRN orientated. So like I said, that's one way of doing unit directly off the map if your map is good enough and if you know exactly where that unit is positioned. The majority of the time though, you're going to go to the unit database and then place in a unit directly into the unit database, either clicking onto the create icon and following exactly the same sequence as I've just indicated, giving it a name, actually typing in the position that may be handed to you on a piece of paper or some sort of message, place in the symbol, place in advanced if required, and place in notes if required. Okay. You will notice that once the units are in, there will be some indication down the left hand side. So the caution mark means it's indicated for units at risk. So if it does come inside a template, then these particular units will be highlighted in units at risk, and the pencil indicates that these units are already displayed onto the map. Each column can be opened up so that you can physically see all the information that relates to each one of them. Underneath, there is the ability to warn, particularly by the unit or by an area or valid from. Okay. What we mean by warn by area, if I quickly go back to the map and then zoom out, you'll notice that a couple of these units have got perimeters around them. So if we just zoom in to this particular unit here, you can see that is the unit position, but it may have subunits indicated inside this defensive position or located around. You don't want to place all those subunits in, so you're just using this as the main unit and then a perimeter, defensive perimeter area around. So if this particular unit is inside a hazard area, and will indicate, if we use the drawing tool, that the wind is coming from this direction. I'll just quickly, just to give you an indication, like so. So if the wind's coming from this direction and the hazard's coming from this direction and this unit is inside the hazard, so when it comes to units at risk, the timing will be indicated when the hazard reach the edge of the perimeter, not when it reaches the actual unit that's in the unit database, to give a little bit more warning. So there's a quick, simple overview of how to create a unit inside CBRN-Analysis.